What's up, Grace Report? Sorry about for the delay. I didn't have my mouse cursor on the right thing to click on me on the right window. Sorry about that, guys. But what is up, guys? It's been a while. What is up, Carol, Heather, whatever, the Mod Squad, D Nice, Matthew, D Nice. Thank you for being a member of the Wolfpack for 26 months. Proud to be a Wolfpacker. Hearts for D Nice. Dusty, what is up? Nerd Report is in the house. Heather, whatever, I hope your dog is feeling better soon. I'm brushing my dog and listening. He's not feeling great tonight. Love y'all. Denny Rose, Jennifer Marie, what is up? Jenny, how's it going? Tyrana! How's everyone doing tonight while we wait for people to trickle in? We'll wait a few minutes. Did anyone see anything interesting? I have been kind of windy. Corn, what is up? Lisa Boo, what is up? How's it going? Jeff Rigo's girl feels like I haven't seen you in forever. I know, right? That weekend went by way too quickly. It usually does. April, how's it going? I'll wait a few minutes for people to trickle in before we get into into the main topics here. If you haven't been around or missed it, Mad Monster was last weekend, so we were in Arizona, had a blast. The weekend always goes so quickly. Didn't kind of run into any celebrities this time. I almost got in the elevator with what's his face from Scream, Dewey from Scream. I can't think of his name right now, but I was like, no, I'll let him go in the elevator by himself. Saw Robert Englund walking by. I am good, April. Thank you for asking. Jennifer Marie goes, my friend's house I went to afterwards is for sure haunted, and we played with the spirit talker and had a wild experience. I'll have to send you the transcript. No way, that's crazy. Wendy Corin goes, I'm going to save and go next year. David Arquette, thank you. I couldn't think of his name. I almost went in the elevator with him, but there was a lot of people, and I don't like going in the elevator with a lot of people. And then I saw him up front, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let him have his space. And then somebody else that was waiting for the elevator was thinking the same thing. Gunner Girl, what is up? So I'm still recovering from that. So I haven't really watched any horror movies or anything. I think the last I was able to catch Sinners on HBO Max because HBO Max went back to HBO Max. They changed their names back. But I would have to get into that one on another stream or do a standalone. I haven't figured that out. And I was also able to see The Crow with Bill Skarsgård. So stay tuned for my thoughts on that. But first, what is up, Nerd Report?
Hello. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, so it's been a good weekend. We came back from Arizona and it was hot as F there. And
I know when I came back, I go, this is the weather here. There's people telling me it's hot. And I go, what? This isn't hot?
Yeah, there's air conditioning here just like at 85 degrees compared to Arizona.
Yeah. Danny Rose, thank you for being a member for 6 months of the Wolfpack. Hearts for Denny Rose. Thank you, Denny Rose. I appreciate that.
So I have a question. So we're gonna get into this. I know you're not doing, it's not here yet, but you're gonna talk about other things before you get into the Annabelle situation with the Conjuring and stuff like that. And I want to say, I'm sorry, Lisa. I just want to say this because I asked you if I could come in before. I've seen the narrative out there. Some people are just taking this thing too far. By all means, we don't mean disrespect to is it Danny Rivera, the gentleman that passed away, I believe is his name. I just made a video on it, and regardless, this is a tragedy because gentleman was touring and stuff, and he suddenly passed away. The story's been out for a while. You're gonna get more into it in a little bit. So, but I'm gonna ask you, Lisa, do you know Jason Hawes?
Yes, I do.
Is he the one that was here once?
He came into my stream in the chat.
Well, yes.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you know, and I know a lot of people in the chat know him too.
Yeah, and if he's watching, we don't mean disrespect to Mr. Rivera, because he did have a post on. I didn't know this was happening, but it's a little strange here. Do you mind if I read this post?
No, go for it.
This is via his Facebook. Recently, the whole world lost a good man. Dan Rivera was an Army veteran, a father of 4, husband, and someone who truly cared about people. Now, don't forget that this is a real human being, and I know people are going to be like, The Conjuring, the movie, the Annabelle doll, and it's like all a cartoon to them, but these are real people that passed away. But this right here, what's even harder to see right now are the posts blaming the death, like the death on the thing. Wait, hold on. Let me not misread this, because what's even harder to see right now are the posts blaming his death on things like the Annabelle doll and attacking places like the ghostly images of Gettysburg tour and other locations for having events. That needs to stop. His family shouldn't have to read that kind of nonsense while they're grieving. I 100% agree on this post and stuff. And then I'm going to disagree with it at the end. So I'm just going to ask a question, all right? And I'm going to conclude right here. This is the conclusion to it. Some people are using his passing to push an agenda for profit, and it's disgusting. I agree with that. Dan was a family man, a respected paranormal investigator, and he left this world way too soon. 100%. Let's focus on remembering Dan for who he was, not turning his death into some made-up bullshit story to get clicks and attention. Honor the man, forget the garbage. There's nothing wrong with his post, and something. This is me, Lewis from Nerd Report, saying, but you all, I'm assuming Hawes is a paranormal investigator, correct?
Yeah, he's the founding. He founded TAPS, and then he was also one of the lead investigators in the Ghost Hunters. If anyone remember, I know everyone's seen Ghost Hunters, or someone came across it.
You're a big fan. I know that, right? Because you were like, he seems like a nice guy, but I'm gonna say, man, there's dumb people on the internet that will just take it too far as like blaming the doll and everything like that. But you all push this narrative that the doll's possessed and ends people, at least from what I understanding. So there's gonna be that. I'm not saying Jason Hawes or Danny Rivera pushed. I'm assuming, I've never heard them speak, but I'm assuming if Danny was the keeper of the doll, he believed in the doll. I have no reason to think anything else. I think he did believe what the Warrens were telling him about the doll and everything like that. So for people after his tragedy, for people to think a certain way, it's kind of like the internets, and there's people that are just they don't have common sense and take it too far. So what I have an issue with, though, Jason Hawes, fellow bald man, and respectfully, I'm going to ask you, is it all bullshit? Because you did say in your post it's all bullshit. So, I mean, what do you mean is bullshit? You're saying the entire thing about the dolls, but I don't know. The entire narrative about the hauntings with this doll is bullshit. I'm just trying to understand that part. Because these Warren incidents with the supernatural, from what I understand, and I could be wrong, I'm here to be corrected, they are stories of tragedies. And unfortunately, in the future, there's going to be a story about this. You know what I mean? That being said, I hope I didn't say anything that's that's too off. I'm not blaming anybody, the doll that's dumb. I'm not gonna go and say that. But when the whole thing is like, hey man, the doll's cursed, and then all of a sudden this tragedy with such a lively person that's only 54 and he looks great, you know, he's full of life, and then all of a sudden this happens. People in his community are gonna come back and say, what the hell? And they're gonna assume and stuff like that. And I'm just trying to be respectful. What do you think of what I said, Lisa? Am I totally off here?
I mean, people are gonna to believe what they want to believe. Obviously, there's a lot of hype around the Annabelle doll because obviously they did make a movie about it. The Warrens are highly known. They're respected. I kind of, the more that I've done research with them, I'm kind of skeptical about them, but a lot of people do believe in them. And the cases that they had investigated. So a lot of people do believe that that doll is haunted and that there's dynamic. I'm getting tongue twisted here. That there's something demon inside of it, and that moving it will cause havoc. And
I did read that.
And that's one of the reasons why they keep it behind glass. And I've also read that whenever they took it out of the glass, there was always a priest present.
Yeah. I believe I read somewhere that Lorraine Warren said that it was possessed by a demonic entity. Now, I also read somewhere that it was a spirit of a little girl. You know, I believe the movie, it was supposed to be a spirit of a little girl. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of those movies, you know, especially that they're kind of weak, if you ask me. But what I'm saying is, I don't believe all paranormal investigators believe in their shit. Okay, I don't. I think some of them do, and some of them don't. Okay.
Well, there's going on with that. There's nothing wrong with being a skeptic and being a paranormal investigator. In fact, I feel like that makes you actually a better investigator because you're not going to jump for every little sound you hear when you go into a known haunted building. You know what I mean? I feel like you'd be more open and more like your mind would be clear because you're a skeptic. When you're a skeptic, you're actually going in there to find proof. You're not going in there like, oh my God, that sound was the spirit of the lady in white or whatever. I mean, I'm using the lady in white because they tend to have the lady in white in stories, but you're not going to jump to conclusions and automatically think that's what it is when there's other explanations that, like, it could be the pipes, it could be the toilet flushed, it could be, you know, something, a wind draft or whatever it could be that caused that noise. But when you're full believer, I feel like you're going to jump to conclusions rather than when you're a skeptic, you're going to have more of an open mind and be more logical about it.
Well, there's just two things. Like we do our shit, you know, we do our YouTube and we have our community, and our community thinks a certain way. So I don't find it too far-fetched that the community of people that believe in paranormal activity and the possession of the doll and everything, I don't find it too far-fetched that they would react in a certain way, meaning blame the doll for the death. Okay. Now, I did make a video, and in my video, which will be premiering on a Nerd Report later, shameless plug, I said there's things I don't believe, but everything I respect. Everything. Okay? I respect when the cameras are on, and I respect when the cameras are off. Because I do respect, I have never, Lisa, you know me better than anyone here. I've never disrespected dead people, ghosts, or people's beliefs in any religion. I don't disrespect it because I just don't know. So if you're a skeptic, it's okay. If you're a non-believer, I believe that's okay. But respect, because this thing with the doll is weird. It is just weird. You know what I mean? It is just weird. And I don't want to be Hawes. I know you're watching. I'm not saying that was the cause. And I ultimately think it's way more important that this gentleman, this kid, passed away with his family's gone. That is way more important. I know people are going to take it too far. But when you're people are going to ask, man, if you believe in that, like religious people are going to be going, is he in heaven, purgatory, or hell? If you have a channel that's religious and believes in that, your community is going to be saying, where is he or where are they? That's just the way it is. And I do believe some people are doing it for profit. And I do believe some people may be asking that serious question because they're followers of these channels and everything. And, you know, I'm going to say I'm a non-believer in Annabelle's possession, but today I'm a little more of a believer.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing. Like, I've never been like with Robert, because there's also other dolls. You know, there's Robert the doll, Peggy the doll, and they say, you know, don't do this, don't do that. I mean, regardless if I believe in the doll or not, I would not do those things. I would not. I would not want to, just by what people have said, you know, what has happened with them after having contact with some of the dolls. I mean, Annabelle's probably not one where people have had too much contact with, but like Robert the doll kind of is. And I mean, people have taken pictures without, the one thing they say about him is like, you need to ask permission to take his picture. And there's people that have stories where they didn't, and they're you know, writing letters back to him, like asking for forgiveness because of all the stuff that has happened. So regardless if I believe it or not, I would still respect the doll. I would never disrespect the doll or anything.
And also respect the Rivera family. Respect the Rivera family, folks. Anyone who catches wind of this video, and anything, and it's you know, but again, I know Haas, I hope I got his name right, is frustrated and stuff that people are blaming the doll, but the paranormal community has been saying this doll's cursed. What do you expect, brother? You know, what do you expect? You know, you guys in the chat, do you get what I'm saying? If your narrative is that this is an evil doll that needs to be in a case, blessed and nowhere, and there's a tragedy that's probably coincidence, unfortunately, like Jennifer said in the chat. All right, so you're telling us this for years, that this is this is happening with this doll, and then a tragedy happens, and then the people think the first thing they're going to say is a damn doll in your community. That's not far-fetched. Am I wrong?
The sad thing is, I feel like the media is also kind of pushing it too, because they're saying, I mean, like the first incident was, you know, in New Orleans where there was plantation fires.
And then, I heard about that too.
And then 10 inmates escaped, and it happened to be in the same city that Annabelle was in. So they were like, "Oh my gosh, the curse is real." I'm gonna go in a little bit. I don't want to be mean to the community, but the ones that are actually focused on this topic, let us know what you think, because everybody's having their private conversation in there. It's like, you know, let's talk. Let's be respectful of Lisa's channel and talk about the topic. You know, some of you are. Thank you, but. You know, we're trying to get your feedback and open up the conversation here because this is a real issue. We put a lot of passion and stuff like that. Now, again, some of you are talking about it, but some of you are just like, you know, I don't know. Sorry, Lisa, I had to say it. But keep the conversation at least 1 out of your 10 comments. Keep it on the topic. I don't know. I'm just saying. Some of you are on topic. I'm not calling out everybody. Don't think anybody. I don't want to be a jerk.
but we really want your feedback on it. There goes everyone.
Well, Matthew said yes, it's the media pushing that more than anyone in the paranormal community. I know they mentioned that Zach Bagans there's an article that I was going to share, but I'll share it later. But they mentioned because he did have an interaction with Annabelle the doll, because Tony Spera, who's the son-in-law of the Warrens, is kind of like the keeper of Annabelle, brought the doll to him, and he said he had like an experience. I don't know if you guys had seen that haunted museum episode.
Dan Rivera is the keeper, no?
Tony Spera is. That's the son-in-law of the Warrens. He married their daughter.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of like he's involved with the museum and everything.
Yeah, and they were on tour and everything.
Or when the museum was open. It's not open anymore, as if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I just got in there. I mean, there's just no, it doesn't really matter, but what I'm saying is if you were, I know he's upset. The internet's stupid, you know, like there's a lot of people that come out at us with ridiculous things, but you can't say stop blaming the doll and other BS like that when a lot of the content surrounding the paranormal community and Annabelle is blaming the doll for stuff. That's what it is. The entire thing. I did not see a push by the Warren estate, and maybe I'm wrong here, to not release the Conjuring films because the doll is not possessed. I did not see that. So I'm just saying that's the way it's going to go, and everything. But anyway, it's paranormal people, drama. I'm sure, you know, he's a good.
Regardless if it's paranormal or not, people like drama. So yeah. Especially when it involves like you know, something that they say is cursed or haunted, and then something happens, which I know a lot of people saying it's probably a quidinky-dink, which I agree to. Like all the stuff that happened, I agree that it's probably a quidinky-dink. But you know, there's true believers, believe it or not, like Lewis was saying, that, you know, they're gonna jump. Oh my God, Annabelle, I told you, you know, they're gonna jump to it.
Yeah, we have to respect the family. Absolutely. Guys, I know a lot of you people like want me to get out of here and let Lisa do her show. And I'm not going to leave until someone sends in $1 or more super chat. So if you want to, that's the goal. We're going to go back to that. $1 or more, I'm out of here. All right. You want me to leave? $1 super chat.
Well, maybe they don't want you to leave, so they're not going to give $1 super chat. And then I know, like Wendy's mentioned Wendy Marino mentioned that she has experiences of her own, and I know that's why a lot of people are believers, because of the experiences they have. I mean, I've never had any experiences per se, like things moving, and I know some of you in the chat has had that or heard. Julia, thank you for that super chat.
So I'm gonna leave, guys. Thanks, but keep the super chats coming for Lisa and the support. I just, you know, I like this guy Hawes. He seems like a nice guy. He's a part of Lisa's channel. But I just want to say, man, when you're saying stop blaming, well, I think maybe I'm misread you, but things like stop blaming the doll, it's bullshit. So are you saying the entire story of the doll is bullshit? Is that your thing? I'm just asking. So the entire thing is all bull. You know, you can't blame I mean, this incident, maybe you're just talking about this incident. Don't turn his ending into some made up bullshit story. I mean, that's what some people say about the Warrens. You know, that it's bullshit made up stories. You know, the Amityville thing was a horror, the Amityville was a tragedy, man. Okay. And it is linked to the Warrens, and Warrens are called frauds. So I'm just saying, you know, which one? You can't pick and choose. I may be wrong. It's just my opinion. All right, brother. Jason, come on. I just want to ask. I love you. Oh my God, another super chat. I'm out of here.
Wendy, thank you for your super chat. Hearts for Wendy and Julianne. But like I was saying, a lot of people, the reason why they do believe or have become a believer is because of the experiences they have, which is nothing wrong with that. Like I said, if you've been following me for some time, I've never actually had where I've heard footsteps or seen things move, and I know, or a door open, and I know a lot of you have. But I've had something like a different type of experience where I've always been open, where I've become a believer because of that. But I still have a skeptical side. And then Carol, also, I made it easy, Carol, but for everyone else, Skeleduck is somewhere in this background. I hide him every stream. Just remind me at the end of the stream, and I reveal his location. There's 2 Skeleducks. It's not the bigger one. It is the smaller one. So if hold on, guys, they changed like the way this looks, so I can't find. So he's in my upper right hand corner, might be your upper left hand corner. That is what he looks like. I do hide him every stream. Just remind me at the end of the stream because I do forget. When Decor goes loose, the schoolie of the Warrens. I've talked about the Warrens too as well, and I've always said this. I used to be a hardcore believer in the Warrens because the paranormal community always pushes. I'm like, oh my God, yes, the Warrens. But when I started doing my research, even when you talk about the Amityville house, where the people don't want anybody to be anywhere near, the people that actually own the house today don't want anyone near the house, which I don't blame them. You know, it's their home. But at the same time, when you buy a house like that, you're obviously got to be open to the fact that people are going to, you know, drive by and, you know, take pictures of it. But I know Matthew's mentioned, like, they have never mentioned anything happening in the house. So and the stuff that I have read about the Warrens, it loses. I mean, the more, I become more skeptical about them. And don't get me wrong, I do believe in psychics, I do believe in demonologists, but there are some psychics out there that I feel are preying on people, and that's just wrong. Like they're preying on people's, you know, emotions and just to gain, you know, monetary for themselves, you know, if you get what I mean. But there are some out there that are legit, and I do believe in them. So I'm not saying that all psychics are false, but there's a lot of them, and I hate to say it, there's a lot of people that like to scam people, and it's sad. Matthew goes, actually, the town itself doesn't like people going there for it. Jennifer Marie goes, any psychic that does it on a large scale for money are fake, in my opinion. Dusty goes, I do have a Raggedy Ann doll. It is right there. It is around the same year that Annabelle came out. So or like the same kind of it's a 1960s. It's not as big as Annabelle, like the original Annabelle, but it's still cool. Wendy Corn goes, that's the movie that scared me, and I've seen tons of scary movies. I was trying to find like rules, because there were rules for Annabelle as well, but the only ones I was able to find were like from the movie, and I don't want the rules from the movie. And then I know the movie does take some truth, but it also has some liberties to it. So I didn't want to take off the movie, because, you know, like with Robert the Doll, there's rules, like you have to ask permission to take a picture. Like with Peggy the doll, you can't look in their eyes. You need to say goodbye and hello when you come in. You know, you got to be respectful. So Annabelle, I could not find any like rules, because I was like, you know, what are the rules? But And I've been hearing, like I said earlier, I've heard people say, don't move the doll. And the only explanation I can find is the Annabelle doll is not permanently moved due to the Warrens' belief that it is possessed by a malevolent entity, and moving it is believed to be dangerous. The Warrens, who famously investigated the doll, stated that the entity attached to the doll is not a ghost, but a demonic force that uses the doll as a conduit. Moving the doll is thought to potentially release the entity or allow it to attach to someone else. And then they do keep it in that glass case as a barrier against the demonic force. So that's why a lot of people, the first thing they said when the doll went on tour was not to move the doll. See, you move the doll, see what happens. Jennifer Marie goes, I respect all haunted dolls so much to never enter into their spaces. Denny goes, the only rule I ever heard was never take her out of the box and don't look at her in the eyes. I've only heard the don't take her out of, or don't move her. That was the one, like I was saying, don't move her, is the one that I see floating around. But I didn't really see anything else. If you guys can add to that. Please comment in the chat. I know a couple months ago, while the Annabelle doll was on tour as well, it was like in May, there was a plantation fire and 10 inmates escaped. I like I said, I think with everything, it's a quidinky dink. I don't think the doll, but I will still respect the doll even if I'm not, a full believer. But the stuff that's happening, I hate to say it, it's kind of making me think a little bit like, oh my God, maybe, what they're saying is real, even though I'm going to still be skeptical about it. I'm still skeptical about it, but it's kind of like, maybe, what if? But Jenny goes, I wonder if a priest still comes out once a week to bless the box and strengthen the protection. I heard that whenever they take it out of the box that they had a priest, but I don't know about the blessing. Denny goes, I would not even go in the same building as she is. Hold on, guys, because people tend to... Okay. Matthew goes, don't go near her at a distance. Wendy Corn goes, I've not seen the movie in question. I don't even want to write the name. Don't worry, you're not missing much, Wendy. I didn't care for it. It's part of the Conjuring universe, and I don't particularly like those movies because they're jump scares, and I always talk about this when I talk about them. The jump scares are not subtle in these movies. They make them obvious, and I do not like jump scares like that. And I know Jennifer Marie's not a fan of any jump scares, but I like subtle jump scares. I like the ones where you have to, it catches you off guard, or like you weren't expecting that, or that's what I like. I don't like the one that you're like, oh, something's gonna pop up in the shadow and something does, something like that. Gunner Girl goes, what made her that way? I do have a link. I think it's kind of similar to the movie. But I'm trying to... Hold on, let me find a quicker... I think it's similar to the movie, but I haven't seen the movie in so long. So it's been a while, a minute. It's all based on Ed and Lorraine Warren, so it's kind of like I said, it's kind of skeptical when it comes to that. So the Annabelle doll is believed to be demonic due to claims of paranormal activity surrounding it, particularly by Ed and Lorraine Warren. They stated that the doll wasn't merely possessed by a spirit, but rather was being used by a demonic entity to manipulate and ultimately possess a human host. This belief stems from reported incidents of the doll moving on its own, emitting strange sounds, and leaving behind ominous messages. So the initial claim is a nurse and her roommate reported strange occurrences with the doll, including it moving, emitting growls, and leaving behind notes. Ed and Lorraine Warren, paranormal investigators, were called in and concluded the doll was not just possessed by a spirit, but was being used by a demon to manipulate and potentially possess someone. So it's basically all based on Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens claim the doll inflicted psychic slashes, caused a priest to crash his car, and even injured a detective, all of which contributed to the belief that it was a demonic entity. The movie was a little different. It fictionalized the story, portraying the doll as being possessed by a demon after a satanic ritual. So the movies, like, that's why I don't kind of go off the movies, because they do take liberties to make it more interesting. Bernadette, what is up? Julianne goes, I saw a clip where a lady said Lorraine admired an antique and she got it and suddenly it was evil and possessed. Jennifer Marie goes, I think it's very possible the more energy you give to the idea of a demonic presence, the chances of it being reality increases. People believe she's negative and then holds tons of negative energy. True. Very true. If you believe in it enough, it does come real. Oh, no problem, Gunner Girl. Yeah, Wendy was. It's a nurse. But the sad thing, of course, a real person did pass. And it was and I do have an article that kind of talks about him. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it. Which is the sad part of it, because he is a human being and he did have a family. And it's a quitting because life isn't guaranteed. So anything could happen to any of us, and it's not necessarily because due to a doll. You know what I mean? Paranormal investigator dies on tour with alleged haunted doll Annabelle. A paranormal investigator who was helping lead a national tour of the alleged haunted Annabelle doll has suddenly passed over the weekend. On Tuesday, the New England Society for Psychic Research announced the sudden death of 54-year-old Dan Rivera, the organization's lead paranormal investigator and an Army veteran. Rivera's death occurred on Sunday during his visit to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where he was leading the Devils on the Run tour. As part of the tour, Rivers and other NESPR members were bringing the supposedly haunted Raggedy Ann doll across multiple states. The doll, which was popularized through the 2013 horror movie The Conjuring and its subsequent franchise. I do have a box in the other room that has the little message to not open, and I was going to bring it and I forgot to show you guys. The Conjuring in its subsequent franchise was first purchased in 1970 from the hobby store by a mother and given to her daughter, a nursing student in Connecticut. Annabelle was reported to have moved around on its own, leaving notes and psychic slashes on victims. The doll was subsequently given over to the late paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who kept it in their occult museum based in Monroe, Connecticut. Rivera, who said that Lorraine Warren had mentored him, told participants gathered at Gettysburg Soldiers National Orphanage over the weekend about the precautions he had taken to protect them from the doll's supposed hauntings. What Lorraine would say to protect yourself is to close your eyes and envision yourself in a halo of white light, Rivera told participants, the Evening Sun reports. In a statement to the outlet, Francis Dutrow, the Adams County coroner, confirmed that as Tuesday afternoon, Rivera's cause of death remains undetermined pending an autopsy. According to County Dispatch scanner and archives reviewed by the Evening Sun, firefighters and medical personnel responded to a call at a Gettysburg hotel after 8 on Sunday for a report of CPR in progress on a male patient of Rivera's age. The coroner's office further added that Rivera's death was not suspicious and that he was found alone in his hotel room, the Evening Sun reports. In its statement online, NESPR mourned Rivera's death, saying his integrity, creativity, and generosity defined him. Dan's passion for the paranormal was rooted in a genuine desire to educate, help, and connect with others, whether through social media, conventions, or investigations with local families seeking understanding and peace. As we navigate the days ahead, we want to share that although we do not know what the future of NESPR will look like, without Dan, we do plan to move forward with the events previously scheduled for this year. We believe with all our hearts that Dan would have wanted the work to continue bringing people together, sharing knowledge, and honoring the memory of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the organization added. The Guardian has sought a comment from Rivera's family, which I don't think we need. Just, let his family grieve. You know what I mean? Like, leave them alone. I get you want that. I get the news outlet wants that story, wants their, a comment from them, but leave them alone, dude. They just lost their loved one. You know what I mean? Let them grieve. Like, it just happened. Unfortunately, it happened to be someone that was attached to something that is like well known and famous. And obviously it's going to be put on the news because, news likes to centralize things, if I'm saying it correctly. And it's sad, but this guy, leave his family alone. Let them grieve. They just lost their loved one. And by the sound of it, he sounded like an incredible person. Let everybody grieve. You know what I mean? Jennifer Marie goes, you know what? That is a good idea, Jennifer Marie. We should compare how much crazy stuff happens on other paranormal convention tours to this year and see if there's a spike. I mean, that's a good, but I don't think they've ever had a tour. I don't know. I could be mistaken. This is the first time I've ever heard where they've taken a haunted object across on a tour. I don't know if they've ever done that before. I could be mistaken. But if they have done it in the past, that is a good idea, Jennifer Marie. Regardless, Denny Rose goes, Dan took precautions, but maybe not enough. I mean, regardless, I'm pretty sure he believed in the Warrens. He definitely believed in Annabelle. So I'm pretty sure he did take precautions, but regardless of what, he is a person. He did pass away. Let his family grieve. It's a sad thing. I'm not blaming the doll for it. Like I said, it's a quidinky dink. It just happens to be connected to the fact that he had contact with the doll, but still, regardless, and like I said earlier, regardless if I believed in the doll or not, I would still be respectful to it because you never know. You know what I mean? I don't want to be cursed or have bad luck like some people have said about Robert the doll. I don't want that coming down on me. So I will definitely respect items. And regardless, I do respect items, even if I don't believe them or not. Jennifer Barrico's, because it sounds to me like Annabelle got out and set shit on fire, released inmates, and generally just created chaos wherever she went. That's what they're kind of saying. They're saying that, you know, because you moved her, this is what happened. Bernadette, thank you for that. Generous people, thank you, girl. She says, love and miss you from B&B. Hearts for Bernadette. Thank you, Bernadette and Brandon. I know I saw Brandon earlier. Thank you. Hearts for Bernadette. Thank you, Bernadette. I appreciate it. Hearts for Bernadette. Denny found the rules. Ooh. Jennifer Murray goes, regardless when or how he did, his death would always have been blamed on the doll, even if she was still in her box, just because he was her handler at some point in his life. Exactly. Exactly. I agree. I know it sucks. And I know I get Jason Hawes's side of it. Like, you know, come on, you know, he was a person. He's a real person, you know, like this isn't a movie. This isn't, and that's kind of what I'm getting from his message. I don't know if that's like the route he was going or, but I agree with him on that one. He is a person, like, so regardless, someone's family member has passed. So we need to respect that. We need to not like jump to conclusions and go, oh my God, it was a doll that did it. And, you know, like, you know, get rid of all of that. You know what I mean? Like, it was a person and he passed and we don't know what he passed of. And I don't think we should know, because that should be reserved for his family. But you always know, you always know that it's going to end up somewhere. Someone's going to get a hold of the file and, you know, publicize it. Brandon goes, when Bernadette took me on my first spirit hunting adventure, I was skeptical, but it was interesting and fun, especially when it's too close to be a quidinkadink. Denny Rose, Lisa, the rules. What have we learned? Don't tap on the glass. Don't taunt Annabelle. Don't challenge Annabelle. Do go to church and use holy water. I saw that one, Denny Rose, but I don't know if that was from the movie, or if that's the actual rules. Nerd Report goes, yeah, but it kind of seems like he thinks the stories of the dolls are all BS. I know ghost hunters in particular, and that's kind of why they were my first ghost hunting show. I started off with that. I was a big fan, and then I got away from it, and then I came back to it. And I always felt that they were more, they were on syndicate, they were on television. Yeah, the networks probably pressured them to add stuff to make things more interesting, but I knew that I felt that they were more true to themselves, like true to the investigation part, where they didn't add anything. Like they were more truthful about it, and I still feel that way to this day. And they even had an investigation where they, you know, investigated the Queen Mary, and come to find out that somebody that worked at the Queen Mary moved the bed cover, because in one of their videos they saw like the bed cover moving by itself, but later found out that someone that worked there moved it, and they did mention that on their thing. So I always felt like they were more truthful. So what Nerd Report's saying, like he kind of wants like an answer from Jason Hawes, is if he thinks the doll is BS. And that's kind of what he's getting from his message, which yeah, Matthew, exactly. Ghost hunters have many episodes where they get nothing. It's true. They get nothing. And I think that's the reason why they're no longer on a network. It's because I feel like, I don't know if this was the truth, but I feel like and Jason does his own thing on his YouTube channel if you guys follow him. But I feel like they were always more you know, more truthful when it came to thing. And then later I discovered Ghost Adventures. I know I just like it because it's entertainment. I like watching the guys. I honestly, you know, Aaron, Billy, Jay Wasley, all the guys. I just like watch their interaction. I kind of take what they're investigating like a grain of salt, to be honest with you. I am a fan of Ghost Adventures. And I respect those guys. I do. I respect what they do. I understand if you have to add things. I totally understand, you know, when people do that. Obviously, I mean, people aren't going to watch if nothing happens. There are the diehard fans that do watch regardless if something's happening or not. But I watch it for entertainment. I like to watch their interactions. I like to see the places that they go to. Doesn't necessarily mean the places aren't haunted. But I just like seeing the places that they go, the backstories that they give about the places, the, you know, the cinematography, and stuff like that. But D Nice goes, Matthew goes, Jason does better on YouTube, plus no annoying music and can hear things. Well, he could do his own thing. He doesn't have the network telling him what to do, Matthew. So of course, I mean, obviously he doesn't own the platform, but he has more liberties. And it's the same thing with there's Destination Fear, which was on network television, but I guess because they weren't getting ratings, they got canned, and then they started their own YouTube channel, went to Project Fear, and they're doing their thing too. And I feel like, you know, having your own thing is better than doing what a network tells you. You know what I mean? Because the network, if you film something, the network has to give you permission to post it. You know what I mean? Or if they like it or not, or if they want you to do this. And so if you're doing your own thing, it's better because you can edit it yourself. You can put whatever you want in it. Obviously not everything you want in it, because YouTube is, you know, pesky. Nerdaport goes, is he calling BS on the only story about the doll that sounds legit? I know, Jennifer Marie, I know a lot of people think Zach Bagans is like full of himself and arrogant. And I know, like, I call him the most hated paranormal investigator because a lot of people, I swear to God, since we're talking about Zach Bagans, I swear to God, I think there was a story about someone that worked at the museum, right? Because he has the Haunted Museum in Las Vegas. I think at the Haunted Museum, I've never been there, but I think it's a lot different than when he first opened. I think he's added jump scares and stuff. I don't know, I have not been there, but by what people have seen, I think, you know, someone commented, like, I think he's added like jump scares, like an actual like haunted maze type of thing. You know how when people jump out and stuff like that. I don't know if this is true. It's just because I have not been there. But I guess a worker came out and started. I know we're talking about the Annabelle dog, but I'm going off kilter here. But one of the workers like, oh my God, he smelled like he has that type of cologne. And I'm like, why the F would anybody want, you know, like, who the hell cares? Like, he was putting like, oh, he smells like cheap cologne, like the Axe cologne. And I was like, I know people that use Axe. It's not that bad. I don't know. There's people that are like obsessed. Judy goes, my husband calls the guys at Ghost Adventures frat girls. Matthew goes, I can't stand his voice. It's funny, if you guys ever watch, he's got like a narration voice and then he has his normal voice. It like changes. But I like, it's entertaining. I like watching the interaction between the guys. I respect what they do. And they do their thing. And they're having fun doing it. Oh, Jennifer Marie, believe me, there's a lot of people. Oh, the Emily Parkinsons, there's people that say that too. I like Ghost Adventures until every investigation was demonic, or the other thing is it's on native land. Somebody mentioned that, like, every episode it's on native land. Yeah, Jenny, I'm with you. I like seeing the places that they go to. It doesn't necessarily mean the places they go to aren't haunted. You know what I mean? So I do like that. I like the cinematography because they do the drone shots. They add actors in there and they do this weird creepy stuff. Like that's what I like seeing. I like seeing all the cinematography, the places that they go to. Even though I know they probably add stuff to make it more interesting, fine. But like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean the places aren't haunted. They very well maybe, they may not. You're not going to always catch something on cue. Jenny goes, I have the South Park episode when they make fun of the Ghost Hunter show. Oh, I'm going to have to see that one. I don't think I've seen that one. I know Ghost Adventures is going to be on Robot Chicken, I think, this weekend. Wendy Corn goes, I had to stop watching because I bought my grandmother's house, which was extremely haunted, and I got freaked out. Nothing wrong with that. I probably would do the same. Also, too, guys, I know we're talking about Annabelle, but I wanted to share this article. It's local to here. So many of you, I don't know, you probably heard of it. When I first saw this article, I kind of was like, is this real? And it was very vague when and it was on our local news. So obviously, there's got to be some truth to it, right? But I was still kind of skeptical about it because it was very vague and I didn't want to talk about it. I know there's some YouTubers that had spoke about it, but there was very little information on it. Yeah, Bernadette, Robot Chicken is still around, but I thought this was kind of crazy. I was like, what? Human skin teddy bear was left at a SoCal gas station. Suspected prankster arrested. I guess there was a report that I am not going to subscribe. There was a report that a human skin bear was found at a bus stop. So I was thinking, what is this, out of a horror movie or something? Like out of Hellraiser or some weird twisted thing. But I would have never thought it was real. So when I saw the headline, I go, this can't be real. This is like some prop or something. It's not real skin. A macabre teddy bear that appeared to be made out of human skin was found outside a Victorville gas station over the weekend, turned out to be a practical joke, and the suspected practical joker has been arrested, according to authorities. On Monday, Hector Corona Villanueva was arrested on suspicion of filing a report to authorities of an emergency, knowing it was false and intentionally planting evidence to falsely present it as real, according to San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department news release. Okay, I did not know it went this far, because the first article I read was very vague. It just said, a bear wrapped in human skin found, and I was like, incidents such as this take up valuable emergency resources and put the public at risk, possibly delaying response time to legitimate calls of service. Very true. According to the release, we would like to thank those that reported information that was helpful during the investigation of the case. Obviously, the teddy bear wasn't real. On Sunday at 12:07 p.m., deputies from the Victorville Police Department responded to a call at the AM/PM gas station on Bear Valley Road. Officials said deputies found a teddy bear that was made of what looked like human skin. The San Bernardino County coroner collected the bear and determined it wasn't made of human remains, which I would have thought it wasn't if I saw it. South Carolina artist Robert Kelly of Dark Seed Creations confirmed in a Facebook post that he was the creator of the bear and had shipped one of them to an Etsy customer in Victorville last week. So obviously, if you are a creator or an artist and your creation popped up on the news, you're obviously going to be like, yes, that is me. Free advertisement. I don't blame them. I would have done the same thing. Plus it helped confirm that it wasn't real, but I didn't think it was real to begin with. The bears in the Facebook video Kelly posted were stitched together like a Frankenstein monster with human skin and tinged with what appeared to be blood. I mean, they look pretty cool. No, I did not have any knowledge of the buyer's intentions, nor was I involved in a prank on the other side of the nation from me, he wrote. The bear sells for $165 on the seller's Etsy shop and is now sold out. Of course it is. I mean, the guy is probably making some money now. But let me see if I can find a picture of the teddy bear. It's actually pretty cool. I don't know if there's images of it. They may not show it because I mean, I could see why people thought it was real, but I wouldn't have thought it was real. It actually looks pretty cool. I hope YouTube doesn't shut me down for showing this picture, but hold on here, because they updated this program. Because they're literally covering so that, I don't know if you guys can see, they're literally like covering the picture. But that is kind of what he looks like. He has an Etsy shop for anybody that's interested. But I don't blame him. I would have done the same thing. If I saw my creation on the news, I'd be like, what the? I know, D-Nice. I shop from Etsy. I love Etsy. Dusty goes, I saw it. It looks creepy. Oh, I know, Matthew. I did for the one. Jennifer Murray, me too. I would never look at that and think it's made of real human skin. I would have been like, that is cool. Whatever that is. But I would have never I mean, obviously the guy that did it pranked, I didn't know he called it in. He actually called it in and said that he called it in to the police and said that. I was like, holy good, that's like taking it too far. I thought that literally someone just found it and then called it in, but I'm with you on Jennifer Marie. I would have said, no, that's not real. That's pretty cool, whatever it is, but it's not real. But that's, to me, is taking it too far. And so, I mean, obviously it's true what the police said, like that's taking away from valuable time. When the guy calling it in obviously knew it was a prank and he lied basically, and that kind of sucks. Jennifer Bree goes, I'm a natural prankster, so I appreciate good pranks, but bro took it too far when he called the police. It ain't their business. Yeah, exactly. Like that is like that. When I was reading, I was like, what the? Like, that's too far. If he just left it at the bus station, fine. But he actually called it in. Like, what are you thinking, bro? No, Emily Parkinson's. I haven't seen the previews for the upcoming Dave Franco movie. I have not. I've seen there was kind of like a teaser for Mortal Kombat 2 with Johnny Cage. I saw that, like, kind of grindhouse looking. And then I saw another trailer for Wednesday season 2. Wednesday is almost here. August 6th. It's almost here. And then we get a 3-week break, and then the second part comes September 6th. So I cannot wait for that. I heard about that Emily Parkinson of that movie, but I have not seen the trailer. Jenny goes, some people have more dollars than cents. Jennifer Burry goes, he got bored with the fact that no one fell for it. Yeah, probably, because everyone's looking at it like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, probably. It looks good. And no, I know the trailer has come out, but I haven't seen it. I just kind of saw like the Johnny Cage. I know there's more of a trailer, I think, that came out today, if I'm not mistaken. Bernadette goes, just watched half of the last season of Sandman. I saw that. I didn't watch it though, because I haven't watched the first one, so I didn't watch it. But that was crazy. When I saw that article, I was like, what the hell? Movies that are coming out. I Know What You Did Last Summer is out July 18th. I think that's this weekend. Tomorrow. I keep forgetting my days. So if you guys are a fan of I Know What You Did Last Summer and want to see a rebooted I Know What You Did Last Summer, it is out in theaters tomorrow or tonight, actually. They kind of release them now. And I heard that Megan 2.0, I heard that it kind of bombed. It's already out on VOD for those of you that like to watch, like to buy movies, or PVOD already when it was just in theaters. But I'll wait for it to come out on streaming. To check it out. Gunner Girl goes, they made so many of those. Actually, no, I think there's only one that came out in 1997, I believe. But I think you're talking about, Gunner Girl, I think you're talking about the type of movie. Because at that time, they did make a lot of those teeny bopper type movies, because I was a fan of all of them. But Jennifer Love Hewitt, I believe, and Freddie Prinze Jr. are both in the new one, which is kind of cool because they were in the original one. I wasn't a huge fan. I don't even remember that movie. Like, I think I've seen it once, so I wasn't like a super fan of I Know What You Did Last Summer. But to hear that they're making another one, well, they did make another one. It was like, we don't need another movie that we've already seen. Jennifer Barrigo, she might be referring to the Scary Movie series that made fun of I Know What You Did Last Summer. No, there was a lot of movies, I think, like during that time, that was kind of like the same type of movie with like the teeny, like the same actors. Like there was the Final Destination movies. There was like, what, Disturbing Behavior. There was, I forgot the other one, The Faculty, like those type of movies. I'm aging myself, but I remember those. They kind of had the same actors in them. Bernadette goes, what was that stupid one with Usher? Had a good song in it, but the movie was trash. Like a horror movie? Was that Usher? The Faculty. I just mentioned it. I haven't seen that movie in years. That's why. Yeah, Brandon got it. The Faculty. I just Googled it because I was like, I know he was in a movie, but I don't remember which one. Oh, I know, Matthew. I saw that. There's people disrespecting Jennifer Love Hewitt. I mean, she's beautiful. It's because she's 46. She's like around my age. She's 46 or something, I think it says. And then there's people disrespecting her. There was. I saw that, Matthew. And it's like, dude, come on. D Nice goes, I think I'm aging myself. Girl, we're all old at this point. My dang 13-year-old nephew calls me ancient. right, guys, I am going to open it up for questions. And I do know Lewis Love went live, so we're all going to head over that direction when I end the stream. But I'm going to open it up for questions, and I'll give you a few minutes to look for Skeledeck. It's kind of easier today because I just couldn't, I was in a hurry. But I'm probably gonna, I did see Sinners, like I said earlier, and I did see Bill Skarsgård Crow. I'm thinking about doing a standalone for the Crow one because I need to talk about it. Sinners, I'll say, you know what, I could talk about it. Sinners, I'll talk about. Sinners is on HBO Max. So if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. I didn't like it. It's supposed to be like a vampire, you know. I didn't like it. I think they're supposed to be twins in there, and I was watching it with Lewis. Lewis goes, "They're twins?" Like an hour and a half into the movie, he's like, "Oh yeah, they're twins." So he wasn't paying attention. I felt like the guy directing, he did a wonderful job, but I felt like he was trying too hard. He was trying to be too artistic. And it was, yeah, I did not like it. It's supposed to be a vampire movie, but it didn't get to the point until like the end of the movie. You didn't literally see vampires until like the end of the movie. And it was like cheesy vampires. It wasn't, I'm not like really giving it away, but it was like cheesy vampires, like Dusk Till Dawn vampires, but I'm kind of disrespecting Dusk Till Dawn. But you're more than welcome. I see some people liked it, but I didn't like it. I did not like it. It was slow for me. Yeah, Matthew. Yeah, that's why I would have rather watched. I mean, it was to the point where I wanted to turn it off, but I wanted to watch it all. Jenny, I've heard of that movie. She's talking about Nightbreed, but I have not seen it. So I need to put that on my list. I've heard of it, but I have not seen it. There's a lot of movies that are cult classics, and I have not seen them. And I'm like, I have to see them. Like Reanimator. I have not seen that movie. How can I have never seen Reanimator? It's gory. Yeah, it is. Or she's talking about Nightbreed. I don't mind gory. I don't. I like gory movies, actually. I'm a Terrifier fan, so I like gory. I like Hostel. Hellraiser. I love gore. What? Okay. Hold on, guys. I was trying to get a link real quick. Ginny goes, Emmy saw her first scary movie, now hates clowns and big trees. What movie did she see? Bernadette goes, I eat during gory movies. I can eat during gory movies too. It doesn't bother me. Matthew goes, Nightbreed is on Peacock, Tubi, and Roku for, oh, I have Tubi. Poltergeist? Really? Oh, yes. Yes. That's one of my favorites, though. But yes, I could see, yeah. I could see why she hates trees and the clown. Yeah, at her, yes. That's a great first movie, though, to watch. That is a great first movie to watch. Yeah, that's what I was saying at her age. Yes. One of my actually Poltergeist is one of my favorites. Like I grew up it's one. Yeah, that's a great first movie. Judy goes, that's why I hate clowns too, but I was 7 when my mom let me watch it. I don't know how old I was when I first watched it, but I never was. It's weird though, because clowns never affected me. I know a lot of people don't like clowns, but they've never affected me. Denny, I did see Talk to Me. There were there were things I liked about it, things I didn't like about it. Like the hand I liked about, but I had too many questions throughout the movie. Like, if you knew you had the capability of doing this, why did you keep doing it? Like, that's what my thing is. I don't just casually mess with. It's kind of like a Ouija board. The thing is, like, they were opening up the spirit dimension. They were allowing demons in. Like, how can you casually just do that, knowing that you're doing that? So that was where my question. I was being too logical, I think, when I was watching it. I had too many questions. I know they have a sequel, which I think is on VOD now. I think it is. Yeah, I think Bring Her Back or something like that. But I was like, how are they gonna make a second one? Like, what are they gonna do? But the hand is cool. Like, I like the idea of the hand. I just felt like these kids just casually like letting demons in, like it's a thing to do. I was like, I had this, that kind of bothered me. Jennifer Reed goes, only time clowns bothered me was back in the day when people were effing around to find out dressing up clowns being ominous to go viral on social media. Not sure if anyone remembers that. No, I don't actually. Maybe I do. Maybe I remember bits and pieces of it. Denny bought the hand replica. That's super cool. I actually liked the hand replica. I think that was the only thing I really liked about the movie. But it wasn't like I thought it was the greatest movie ever. Like I said, I kept questioning. I had too many questions when I was watching the movie. I think I was being too logical about it when I was watching it. But I still need to see Imaginary, which is I think it's a Blumhouse film. So I'm going into it with low expectations. With the bear. And then because I got the Stars app, I saw that it was on sale and I got it, and I saw that it had all these movies on it that I hadn't seen. And I was like, I don't think I've seen that one. And then I saw that the Strangers, like a prequel, I forgot what it's called, but I hadn't seen that one yet. So I have that on my list. Jennifer Berry goes, it was literally people trying to be funny to scare people and then would get their asses kicked out because, like I said, they effed around and found out. Oh, Denny, I saw that one. The replica from A24. You can get the hand from Talk to Me from the A24 website. I did see that. Matthew goes, the clowns from Killer Clowns were also used as trolls, and Ernest scared stupid. I miss Ernest. I really do. Brandon wants to take Bernadette to a clown museum. She's going to kill you, Brandon. right, guys, real quick, Skeleduck is in a simple spot. He's right there. He's in between my Peep, my blue Peep, and my Hello Kitty mummy. I just kind of made it easy. I was in a hurry. But there he is. Usually I hide him pretty well, but today I didn't. I just kind of had him in the open. But that's where he is. He's right where my finger is pointed. Matthew, I want to go to the Clown Motel. Ginny goes, this creepy guy used to drive around Westy with a full-size clown in his convertible. That's crazy. Everyone's like, I finally found him for the first time. I know, I kind of made it easy today. I was going to move him, and then I was like, no, let's go live. Carol's going Skeleton was too easy. Yeah, it was obvious this time. Usually but Carol catches everything. One day. All right, guys, any last minute questions before I end this stream? And as always, guys, if you want to catch out Lewis, he is mixing on Twitch. When I end this stream, go ahead and head over to him. I'll drop the link. I can't just raid him from here because unfortunately he's on Twitch. Well, I'm streaming from Twitch too, but I don't have access to my Twitch from here. But I did drop the link. I'm going to drop the link. So if you guys want to check him out, mixing some house music, it looks like, or it sounds like, go check him out. If you're watching me from Twitch, just search DJ Lewis Love. And then put Grayson Report. When you go in his chat, say raid Grayson Report. It's going to be kind of weird, but hey. There it is, guys. That's all right, Carol. Thank you. One last question before I end the stream. Wendy Corn's asking, what was my favorite thing about Mad Monsters? Just hanging out, seeing all the vendors, walking the floor, seeing people we haven't seen like in a year. And seeing all the cosplayers and people walking around. People had their dogs. I was like, oh, that was the best part. Just hanging out and enjoying, like the atmosphere. The weather, the weather wasn't as bad, I feel like, as last year. I feel like it was hotter last year. But it was still hot. But we stayed inside. I got my Dutch Brothers fix. I walked across the parking lot. It wasn't that bad. Ginny goes, I should have brought. I saw so many people with dogs there. I was like, all right, guys. If you still have time, catch DJ Lewis Love on Twitch. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Grayson Report. I'll see you on the next one, which will be Thursday. I know it's a little bit later, but because of work, I kind of have to go on later. But I will see you on the next one, guys. And thank you for joining me. Let me make sure I didn't forget anybody else. And then I want to give it a shout out. I don't want to say the whole name because I don't know because you didn't put your screen name. But thank you, Julie R, for your PayPal. Hearts for Julie R. Asking if I have a P.O. box. I don't, but Lewis does. I don't have it off my top of the head. I could get it, but you can't put my name on it. So it's got to have his name on it only because I'm not on the P.O. box. But I could give you that on the next stream. But hearts for, because I hate it when I miss people. Hearts for Julie. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. Ginny goes, I'm going to Cali next week to cool. I know, we're having a mild summer. We've actually been kind of cool. When I got back from Arizona, I was like, oh my God, there's people going, it's kind of hot today. I go, what? This is nice. What are you talking about? All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Good night and thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great weekend. Good night, guys. And stay spooky and sweet nightmares. And head over